Hey everybody, welcome to the inaugural episode of Drive Thru. Today we're going to drive through Pathfinder, the adventure card game, a game by Mike Slinker. We're going to be playing a scenario out of the Rise of the Rune Lords base set, and this is the first in this sort of series that I plan on doing. So if you have any feedback at all, you're watching this on YouTube, Board Game Geek, whatever it is, please leave me any last piece of feedback. I'll digest it and figure out what I want to do. This is, like I said, a new series for me, so I'm kind of, trying it out, seeing how things go. I'm going to try different things, over the coming videos. We're going to try something a little bit different here. Now I'm up into Adventure Pack 3, the Hook Mountain Massacre. I'm going to try Here Comes the Flood. This is a slightly different scenario. Most of the scenarios are trying to flush out the villains, capture the villain, kill the villain. This one's a little bit different. Now you can see we've got the three locations there. We've got the Academy, the Village House, and the Turtleback Ferry. Basically what's happening is these Nightbelly boas are roaming the streets of Sandpoint, and we've got to try to rescue as many ally cards or characters as we can. Now the villain over here, Black Maga, is not actually shuffled into these decks at all. What's going to happen is each turn we're going to randomly remove cards from these different decks and then put them face down underneath the Black Maga card. Now what's going to happen here is any allies that we find, we're going to actually put under this card here. If we win the scenario, all allies under this card are our reward. Kind of, they're thankful for saving them from all these crazy snakes and things like that. The way that you win is if you basically have more allies under this card versus the amount of allies under the Black Maga card. Now I've kind of stopped and started this a few times. This is a very, kind of easy game, a straightforward game. But this is a very different scenario, so I kind of have already recorded this and threw it out a couple of times trying to figure out the best way to do it. So I think I bit off a little bit more than I can chew, not in terms of the difficulty of the strategy or anything, but just kind of the unwieldiness of the camera and stuff. But I'm going to play it out just so people get an idea of some of the different kinds of scenarios that are kind of rare in this game, but maybe something a little different here. So like I said, these Nightbelly boas are shuffled into the different locations. There also is an additional ally and blessing that's been shuffled in. Now they're not shuffled in evenly. You kind of shuffle them all up and then kind of randomly disperse them through here. So it's feasible that we maybe have just 3 allies in this deck here. You can see the location there. You have 3 allies in that deck, but you may have some extra ones as well. Now I should say that I actually have these locations out in a certain order, and I often do this when I play this solitaire. So this particular mission here is sort of a subplot away from the sort of ogre bashing and things that are happening in the main thread of the Hook Mountain Massacre. So I've kept that in mind, and so basically my idea is that Sela here is kind of resting. She's up at the Academy, possibly doing research on ogres or certain things in the surrounding countryside or the lore or something. So while she's there, then Black Maga over here is going to attack. All the snakes are going to come out, and then again, the object is to get more allies than Black Maga, so we're going to start helping to evacuate people out of the Academy. Once we leave the Academy here, we're going to be in town. We're going to hit the some village houses, get some folks out of there, and then finally try and make our way to the ferry and kind of escape town with as many people as possible. So for thematic reasons, I'm going to explore in this direction. I just do that with all the different scenarios just to kind of change it up, add a little bit of story, and kind of just lay these scenarios out or the locations out in a way that makes sense. So here we've got our starting hand here, and Sela has to have drawn armor. That's her favorite item type. So I got 2 nice pieces of armor. As you can see here, she's leveled up. She's gotten more badass, so to speak. So I've got a nice bastard sword +1, a magic half plate, elven breastplate, things like that. I've got a blessing to start off with. Now the interesting thing to know is she's a highly combat-oriented character, but this scenario is not necessarily going to be about that. So it'll be a little bit interesting to see how she deals with that, because really what we're trying to do is efficiently get through all of the locations there, because again, each turn we're going to put probably a bunch of cards under that character. So having these blessings and things that let us get the free explore action there is going to be key. So we'll go ahead and flip the first blessing to start the game. We can see Sela's here at the academy doing her research. The outbreak has happened, and then we're going to randomly choose one of the 3 locations. So I'll just take the D6, and based on my logic, that'll be here from the second location. We'll roll a D4 then to see how many cards come out. So there's going to be 4, and what's going to happen here is, you know, quite a few cards are going to come out of here. So it's a little bit lucky. You know, during my first playthrough where I kind of botched the recording a little bit, I thought I had no shot. I was actually a little bit closer, but this is going to be a highly luck driven scenario. So we remove 4 cards from the bottom of that deck. These are going to be placed under the Black Maga card, and then so we're a little bit hosed. Hopefully there's no allies under there. Now we're going to go over here. We're going to take and explore, look at the first card there, and this is an item. This is going to require Charisma 5, and you can see this is going to give us a bonus on our Charisma check. Sela is not a very good item user. It's kind of nice to find items during a scenario with her because, you know, you kind of use them, but she can't retain them from turn to turn. So she's got Charisma 5, and we can see here, according to our character sheet, you know, she's actually, you know, you can see leveled up. We've checked off quite a few boxes and stuff there. She's got a D10 on the Charisma. I can go ahead and roll just for fun, but, you know, it's not really a big deal if I get it or not. So I rolled a 5, you know, and I did get it, but who cares, right? I can reveal this card to add 1 to my Charisma check, but I am actually going to go ahead and keep this card because I have a Blessing of the Gods. I can use that again to explore the location. Plus, you can see the Academy here has an ability on your first exploration. If you encounter anything other than a spell, you may get to explore again. So I'm going to use that. I know I'm going to be able to explore again with my Blessing of the Gods, so that's what I'm saying here. You just want to get through these decks and hopefully find allies. Okay, so here we've got a Nightbelly Boa. The interesting thing about this henchman here is normally when you defeat these, you go to try to close the location. Well, these guys have an ability here. Defeating the Nightbelly Boa does not allow you to close the location because, again, it's basically a race through these to try and, you know, get more allies than Black Maga. So defeating this won't let us close the location, but we're going to go ahead and try to defeat it. Now, thankfully, this is where the combat is going to come in handy. You can see here she's got a strength, melee strength +2, and I've checked there +1, 2, 3. So I've already got a +5 in there with a D8, and I've got a Bastard Sword with a +1. So that's a +5, +1, that's a +6. So I've got a D8 plus a D10 +6. And that will make our target number an 8. So I've got a D8 plus a D10, and that will try to get an 8 out of that. So I am going to go ahead and use and discard the top card of her deck to, okay, there's a Flaming Mace +1 gone bye-bye. So this is going to go in the discard pile. This is going to add another +1, because when I discard this, I've leveled that ability up. I get another +1, so now my target number is a 7, plus I'm going to add a D6. So we've got a D6, a D10, and a D8 here. So we've got the 3 dice. Go ahead and roll those. Hopefully I can do that. Oop, so there we go. There's 10, 11, we're good to go, and that's nice there. So, and we've gotten rid of one of these henchmen. I'm going to just put him on the side, and then I'm going to go ahead and spend my blessing, and we're going to see what we got here. So we'll take a look here. So here we have a Force Missile. I'm probably not even going to try to get this. It's an arcane spell. I have no business doing anything arcane. I'm just going to go ahead and pass it. Turn 2. That was a lot of stuff in turn 1. So we're going to get the blessing there, and then we're going to randomly figure out which location. Based on the roll, the village house is selected again. How many we're going to take out? Okay, this time only 1. That's thankfully a good thing. So we're going to take the bottom card of that deck, put it under Black Maga, and then we're going to explore. So let's go ahead and explore here. Feeble, so Enfeeble, it's a spell. Again, another arcane spell. A nice little spell here. Discard the top card to evade the monster. But if I don't have arcane, I gotta banish it anyway. So I'm not even gonna worry about that. So unfortunately, that is a spell, so I can't automatically explore. I could if I won. I probably maybe should have done this last turn, but I'm gonna go ahead and refresh my hand. I'm gonna get rid of that charisma item and then redraw here at the end. Now maybe I can, like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of one of these. So let's see, the Elven Breastplate will let me reduce armor by 2 if I reveal it. The Magic Half Plate will let me reduce armor by 3 if I recharge it. So let's go ahead and discard the Half Plate 2, or excuse me, the Breastplate. Then I'll be able to draw 2 cards. There we go, there's a Blessing of the Gods, and then a Crow. And I think the Crow will let me, yes, discard this card to explore your location. So we're on the next turn, but now I've got a blessing to get a bonus explore in. Advance the blessing. Now our randomizer has let us remove cards from the Academy. We're going to roll the 4 there. the D4, excuse me. So I'm going to remove 2 cards from there. 2 cards go underneath Black Maga. And what are we going to find in the Academy on our way out? Sanctuary, a spell. Boo. Okay, so this is a Wisdom Divine. This is actually a nice one. I like to keep the cures in my deck. I'm not going to bore you with die rolls for cards I don't want, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. But I am going to play my Blessing to explore again. We're going to see what we got here. Swipe, another spell here. This one is an interesting card. I'm going to go ahead and attempt to get this because you can get this with Arcane or Divine, and if you just need Arcane or Divine to keep it. Now it does a couple of things. You can decrease the difficulty of a combat check, or you can also discard it to automatically acquire a weapon, armor, or item. I'm going to be hard pressed to replace one of my cures with this, but I just might do that. So I need a Wisdom Divine 6, and so my Divine has been bumped up a little bit, and it's nice because it has Wisdom. So if we go here and look, we can see Wisdom is +2, and I've got a +1 from leveling up, so I get a D8 +3 total, and then this is basically a target value of 6 now, or 3 now, 6 minus 3, so a D8 to get a 3, so we'll see there. And I got a 2. Boo. Okay, oh well, maybe next time, swipe. Well, I've still got a Crow here, so I'm going to go ahead and play the Crow to explore. We'll see what we got here. Go ahead and explore. And oh, here we go, an ally. Good thing, good thing, good thing. So they acquire this ally here. We need Charisma, Diplomacy, Arcane, Divine, a 6. So thankfully I have the Divine again, so I get the +3 on the D8, and then I can try to acquire this Acolyte. And since this is so important, I'm also going to discard the top card of my deck there, so I'm going to get another +1. So I've got a D8 and a D6. I need to roll a 2, so obviously I'll roll 2 1s, so that's an automatic acquire there. Now, no, she doesn't go in my hand. She's going to go over here, and we're going to put her underneath Here Comes the Flood. So I've got 1 ally, 2. I'm not sure how many. Now, the reason I'm being a little bit brazen here about discarding different blessings and items and things like that is I do have these cures, and these cures are basically ways of getting cards from my discard pile back into my deck, so I should be able to reuse those as well. And I did notice with my ability to discard the top card of my deck, since it was a blessing, I didn't even look at the card. It's a blessing, and so instead of discarding it, it actually goes underneath my deck and recharges instead of discards. Advance the Blessing for turn 4. Unfortunately, we've randomized to go at the Academy again. We only have 3 cards here, so Naga may blow through those. Let's see what happens. We've got 4, so that's going to go ahead and eat up the rest of those. So there, he's now starting, or she is starting to acquire several cards. Now we've got 1 ally, and I believe there's 9 total, so we want to at least get 5. So she's got a lot there. So we're going to go to actually move into this location here. So I think that roll actually happens before I get a chance to move. So we're going to go ahead and just move that off the side because closing locations doesn't matter. So I think this is legal. I'm sure it is. And so after the roll for Naga, then I'm going to move and then explore. And here we get a Blessing of the Gods. This I'm going to immediately play and discard to explore again. Here we've got another ally. Let's take a look at him. So Charisma and Diplomacy of 6. I really don't care what he does right now. I'll look at that at the end of the game. So I've got a D10 on that. So I need to roll a D10 and get a 6. Well, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to play the Blessing here. And so that's going to give me 2D10 to try to get a 6. So let's go ahead and roll. There's our 4. There's our 3, so we barely made it. So I'm going to put the ally here. Now we've got 2. I'm doing a lot better than I was on my previous takes, I'll tell you that right now. Now since I've got a fair amount of blessings and explorers currently distributed in my discard pile, I'm going to go ahead and use my cure. And my cure, basically, I roll a d4 plus 1, I shuffle randomly cards out of my discard pile into there. So there we go, bam, 4 plus 1, so I'm going to shuffle 5 of these back into here. Now that I've shuffled those, and I'm going to try to succeed at a Divine 8 check. So I've got a D8 plus 3, so hopefully I need a 5 or higher. There's a 3, okay, so instead of discarding that, I would have recharged it, so I'm going to go ahead and just discard that. Then we're going to go ahead and refresh our hand at the end of the turn, which is good. You can see this is probably one of the blessings of the gods that we shuffled back in. Unfortunately, we also shuffled in probably this worthless item. Maybe Charisma will come in handy. Next turn. So unfortunately, we're going to attack this location again. We're going to roll the die here. Ooh, 4 of those. That is no good. Removing those 4, you can see that leaves us with 1 card left to explore. Let's hope that is an ally. So we're going to flip that up there. That is a long spear. I do not care about a long spear because, as you can see, I have the Impaler of Thorns, and I have a Bastard Sword +1 and a Flaming Mace, so I'm not even going to roll for you. So now we have one location left to explore. Unfortunately, there were quite a bit of allies in here. We only got one, so that means at least 2 others out of here have gone into Black Maga's deck there. Black Maga's deck. So we're going to advance the deck to the next turn. Now, one thing I just thought of, which I haven't thought of yet, is these locations are actually still open because I haven't closed them. And so the rules say to randomly pick one of those and then remove 1d4 worth of cards from there. Well, I actually changed how I was rolling the dice to determine which location based on, you know, sort of a decreasing amount of locations. So I would assume that you have to remove cards from a location that currently has cards, but I could be wrong about that. It is not very clear actually on the scenario. So what I'm going to do is, just to make this a little bit more fun, I'm going to say that on this turn I randomly selected a location that didn't, you know, have any cards, because I actually, based on my die roll, I would have done it in the previous turn. So we'll just go ahead and do that. I'll cheat a little bit sort of for a cinematic effect, and then we're going to reveal this card here. This is a blessing. I'm going to go ahead and grab that, discard it to explore again. And we're going to see what we got there. We got a werewolf here. So the werewolf is a combat of 13. And before the encounter, examine the top card of the blessings discard pile. If the card's blessings of the god, the difficulty of the werewolf is increased by 3. It is not a blessing of the god. So it's only a 13 to defeat. So now at least you get to see the loot for Adventure Pack 2. This is one of the items for completing the entire pack here. So it's a spear weapon. For combat check, reveal this card to roll your strength and melee die D8 +2. You may additionally discard this card to reduce the difficulty of the main by 2. Blah 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 blah. So it's a D8 +2. So remember, I've got a +5 on there. So I'm at a +7 +2 D8. So we got our werewolf here. I need a 6 on a 2d8. I'm going to go ahead and do that. So we've got 1d8. That's a 7. There we go. So he's dead already. So the werewolf is killed. I'm going to go ahead and play a Blessing of the Gods to explore immediately. See what we got here. Ooh, we got a Dance with Squealy Nord. This is a barrier. What is this? This is a promo card, isn't it? Where's the P? Yeah, okay, I haven't seen this before. So this is a demonic pig. Okay, if defeated, draw 1d4 random items from the box. Choose one to add to your hand. If undefeated, you are dealt 1 combat damage. So this is a Wisdom 9 or Combat 18. That is interesting. Well, Wisdom is, let's see, I get a +3, D8 +3. So that would be a 6 on that, and I can add another D6. I could do Combat 18. That's crazy. Let's do the Wisdom. Screw it. So I've got a D8 +3, and then I can discard a top card of my deck. We're going through these anyway. So this is a longsword. So that's a +4. So I need a 5 on a D8 and a D6. See what we got there. That's a 6 and an 8. So we got that. I can search for 1d4 random items. Let's see what we roll on the d4, and I'll show you the items I get. Ooh, 4 items. Let's see what we get there. So we got a Potion of Energy Resistance, useless. Potion of Hiding, useless. Holy Candle, bury this card to shuffle 1d6 cards from the Blessing discard pile in the Blessing deck. If I could keep that, it would be cool, but I'm not going to keep it because my Paladin doesn't like items. And then a Knowledge check. We'll keep the Holy Candle because that's funny. So we're going to go ahead and reset our hand, get rid of those 2 useless cards, and then I was just thinking here, I'm going to get rid of this too. I don't need more than 1 weapon. Even though I saw that, I know I'm cheating, but I meant to do that. So there we go. So I got a shield, a magic plate. These are 2 free explorations as well. So hopefully, based on our D6 roll to figure out which location, I'm going to go on the assumption that you can still target those locations. Even though there's 0 cards, the 1d4 cards under there may be 0. So if I roll a 1 or a 2, I'm going here. Anything else, I'm going somewhere else. So we got a 5. So I'm going somewhere else, nothing. Okay, could be playing that totally wrong, breaking the rules. So we got to flip the card from the Blessing deck here. We're going to be able to explore Muckgrawl. Now that is a cool looking character. They're plant and ogrekin, so it's an ogre plant. So it's immune to acid. You add 1d check to defeat it with the fire trait. I don't have my fire card in there. If the check does not have the fire trait, he's undefeated. That stinks. Yep, no fire. And if undefeated, another random character at this location encounters muck. Okay, well, So I've just got to fight him to not take damage. So I need a 15. So remember again, with my Impaler I have a +7 and 2d8. So my target number is 8 with 2d8. I'm going to go ahead and burn this, so my I get to recharge that because it's a blessing. So my target number is 7 with 2d8 and a d6. So let's roll our d6 first. And that was a 2, so we need a 5 on the 2d8. There we go, there's a 3, and then as long as I don't roll a 1, I'm okay. And I rolled a 5. So he's not defeated, so he's going to go back in, and we're going to discard a blessing to explore again. Watch us get him. Explore there. Oh, what do you know, we got him again. So we'll do the same thing, blow the top one, that gets him recharged. So we've got a +8, so that's a 7. +3, so we need a 7, and we get to roll another d8 if we fail, we're good. He's gonna get shuffled in. We get to explore again with our blessing. And what do we got? If we get the muck crawl, I'm gonna flip the table. All right, so we get a ring of protection, which seems cool. Let's just reduce damage there. Not really what we want, and I can't keep it, so I gotta get rid of it. Reset our hand. I got a cure, which is good, and another blessing. Go to the next turn. Same rule as before. If we get a 1 or 2, we're going into our location. If not, then we're not. There's a 3, so it's going to target that location. So we'll go ahead and do our explore. Or there's an ally there. So we've got the wisdom and the survival, intelligence, arcane of 8. So there's not divine, so I don't get my plus bonus there. So I get a d8 +1, so my target is 7 with a d8. That's not going to work out too good. I am going to go ahead and actually use this blessing here as its blessing effect. So I'm going to actually roll another die. So I have 2d8, and I need a total of 7 to get that third ally. So we got this one, and that is a 1, and so now I need a 6 or higher. Phooey. Oh no, that's a +1 on when I do the ability off the top card of the deck. No, I didn't do that, sorry. Oh well, too late. There's a 3, so I failed at that. That is too bad. But the rule when you fail on these is to actually go back to the box, so at least it does not go into his supply. Now I'm going to do a cure again to get some cards back into my discard, or into my deck. So a d4 +1, and that is a 3. So I get to put 4 cards back into my deck. So we're going to flip these up, refresh our hand. We've got him back, that's good. We're going to do the next turn. We're going to randomly roll. So that's a 4, that's not this location. And then we're going to explore here. Okay, we got this bow again, has a 14. Again, I've got the +7 with this here, so I need a 7 on 2d8. I'm going to go ahead and just roll that. So I need a 7 on 2d8. So there's a 1, probably stupid. There's a 4, so that I needed 2 damage I got to prevent, and I can reveal this card here to prevent 2 damage. So my shield takes the damage, and the villain goes back, or the henchman goes back in the deck. Now I do have my crow here to explore again, which I'll do. And what are we gonna get here? Ah, the same guy again. Dang it. So I will reveal this again, and then I'm actually going to discard it since I drew my bastard sword +1 on the last thing. So that's a +7 plus another 2, so that would be another 9, and so that'll be a total of 5 on 2d8 from there. So we'll roll that. There's a 6. So you are going bye-bye. Now we've got 2 slots left in our thing here. When we reset our hand, a couple of blessings, that's nice. Deck's getting a little bit thin, not too bad, especially when there's not a lot of combat. And then we will go to the next turn. Let's get our d6 going here. 6, so that's that location. Totally cheating here, I think. Flip that. Oh, we got an ally there. Okay. Let's see. So this is a charisma diplomacy of 8 there. That is going to be difficult. Charisma is a d10, so we need to get an 8 on a d10. However, what I can do is add myself another d10 and then flip over the top card here for my special ability. That's going to get discarded. So now I need a 9 on 2d10 and a d6. So I need a 9 here. There we go, perfect. So that means this ally is going to go in this pile here. So this is a pretty close game. I'm pretty sure, unless there's another ally in there, I'm gonna lose. Now we know that one ally has been removed from the game, so we're in pretty good shape here. So next turn, blessing, roll for location, 3, which means that one, so nothing. We're going to explore. Ah, this idiot again. Actually, I just looked down here. I would have had a blessing, which I would have played to explore again. So we're okay. We're just, now I've only got 3 cards in my hand, so nothing really changed there. I just forgot to notice I had to re-explore, so that roll was just meaningless, but I'm still gonna fight this jerk. So quick refresher, he's a 15. I've got now, instead of a +7, I've got a +6 because I'm using my Bastard Sword +1, but I've got a D10 instead of a D8. So that means I need a 9 on these here. So if I flip this card here, let's see what we got. Oh, it's a blessing, so we'll charge that. Alright, so there we go. He's dead, but he's not actually defeated because I didn't hit him with fire. So after refreshing my hand, we're going to go to the next turn, and I just realized these boas here, when you actually fail to defeat them, they go back on top of the deck anyway. So I actually drew him even though, you know, he was still there. Anyway, so I didn't actually break the rule even though I did. So now we're back here. We've got another blessing. Here's my fire though. See, I drew my fire. This is what I'm excited about. So I can recharge this to add 3 with the fire trait. This is Pook of Zarangal. It's actually a promo card, but I discovered it early on in my adventures. Next turn, advance the blessing deck. I'm going to explore here. What do we got? So item, who cares? I will discard a blessing here to go on and look at the next card. Next card, where's that guy? Oh, here we go. Yap the Pixie. Oh, we're doing pretty good shape here. Charisma Diplomacy of 2. Okay, so as long as I don't roll a 1 on a D10, well, I might as well burn that to give me the +1. Oh, I get to recharge it anyway because it's a blessing. So I acquire that ally. She's going to go into this spot here. So now I've got 4, and we know the 5th one is out of the game there. So I'm pretty sure I won the game. I'm gonna go ahead and cheat because I'm pretty sure there's got to be no allies in here. There we go. And so basically what I can do here, since I basically, you know, proved that there's no allies because I know the total count, the rules say you do this when the blessing deck runs out. So now I can just sit here. I don't have to explore. I can just basically time out the game. You don't die in this scenario. So I'm pretty sure I won. I'm going to go ahead and look at these just to make sure in my count. And I did. You can see Black Mega unfortunately got a hold of the dog, the soldier, Brodert Quink, and the standard bear. Now because we tied, I technically have 1 because you just need to tie or get higher. Then I get to acquire these guys here, put them in my deck temporarily, and then figure out if I want to keep these moving on to the next adventure. Pretty sure I cheated, so I'll go check online and make sure that I didn't cheat. But yeah, I mean, like I said, if you don't actually, you know, if you have to target all the locations with your randomization, makes it really, really difficult with a single player game. So this could be one of those where I maybe just, I should probably replay it, cook up a little basic character just to, you know, solo or just, and this is not really one I even want to play with my group. It's a kind of uneventful, it's interesting, you know, in that it's different. I like the thematic part of it in the story, trying to escape, you know, from the village and escape the snake and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. I may just leave it and, you know, it's not that big a deal. But anyway, hopefully you guys were able to see this a little bit of a different kind of scenario here and get a little bit of a feel of the playthrough, or as I like to call them, the drive-through. Thanks. Okay, so I double checked online and I actually was playing it the correct way. So if you read the scenario card literally, I was doing just fine. So I would figure I was just going to show you, I got it down to, I added a new blessing to my deck, and then these are 3 allies that are kind of thinking about making the cut here. So this acolyte here, she is going to give me a recharge to add a d4 to Arcane or Divine, or I can recharge it to add magic trait to a recharge check. Probably not going to take her now that I think about it. She's not that good. Then I have these 2 guys here. He's going to give me a d6 in a combat, which is pretty cool. This guy I may just add just to be funny. Now when you do your turn here, you can reveal this card, and then if it's a monster, shuffle that card into the location deck. And after you play this card, you roll a d12. On a 1, you summon and encounter the villain, the Sandpoint Devil. Well, here is the Sandpoint Devil is a 20/20. So this guy gives me a little bit of flexibility about which monsters I encounter, but on a slight chance I may have to deal with this guy here. So I don't know about that. I think I may go ahead and just add him just for fun, just for the old thematic aspect there. I rescued this guy. He's a little bit slimy. I don't know what that's about, but there you go. So now is Ilsoari Gandithus Sorry for the John Travolta treatment there, but so he is now a part of my group. Okay, that's a wrap. Thanks.